flesh, for instance, which dwells in your soul and your body, encompasses things like, number one, negative thought patterns. You have been trained by the devil, by the world, and by your desires before you became born again. And so all the things you did, all the things you were doing before you became born again, or all the things you were exposed to, negative things, they have created pathways in your mind. So they are pathways of the flesh, thought patterns which are negative in your mind, and that's part of the flesh. The world has trained us, evil thought patterns, immoral mindset, the things that we saw and heard that entered our subconscious. They are all part of the flesh, and those are the things that we've got to deal with when we become born again. Okay, and so so those things, they are trainings that we receive. The body has learned to follow a particular pattern, the pattern of the world, and all those memories, they are created and stored in our heart, which is our subconscious. And so even after you have become born again, there's no delete button that is pressed to clear all those things. All those things are still there. The pornography you watched 10 years ago, it can still be in your memory. The fantasies you had 5 years ago can still be there. It does not mean that when you become born again, all those things are flashed out. No, you will also have to expose yourself to constant training of righteousness, so that you can even start thinking in a different way, certain way. Do you know your heart can be trained? Bible says that some people, their hearts have been trained in covetous practices. In other words, your heart can be trained to be covetous. In the same way, your heart can be trained to be immoral or amorous or sexually immoral. Your heart can be trained. You can be so trained that you can undress people in your mind when you see them. You can be so trained that you can literally undress people in your mind when you look at them. Look at a guy or a lady, then in your mind you have undressed the person. You can be so trained like that. But you see, all this training, they are training that the world gave. And when you become born again, that is going to be your struggle. It's not as if a delete button is going to be pressed so that all those things are flashed out. No, they are still there. And that is the battle. That is the battle for purity. That's where it comes from. It depends on how deep your flesh has been trained, how deep your flesh has gone in the school of the world, how you have been trained. That's why you see, if you are somebody, let's say before you became born again, you had sexual partners, or maybe you had a sexual partner, or maybe you indulged in sex before marriage and all that, and now you are born again, you have a greater work to do than somebody who didn't experience those things before you became born again. Even though both of you have the same flesh, you have both of you have when you stand before God, you have no advantage over the other person in terms of salvation. No advantage, or have sin. So even if you score 49, you are still below the past mark 50. If somebody scores 9 and 49, you are on the same scale as far as salvation is concerned. But you see, let's say that you were not exposed to such things, you will have more advantage dealing with those things than the one who has roamed and has not come to Christ. You must know yourself and know that there's more work to do, and you must go deeper in the law. The extent to which you went in the world, you must even go deeper than that to overcome all those installations in your subconscious. Because there are people who, even when they come to church and then we are saying, I love you with the love of the Lord, their minds are not renewed yet. And so for them, I was listening to one man who used to be a pornographic actor, and he said that, now he's born again, he said that for him, his definition of love was sex. So when he became born again and went to church and they said, tell somebody I love you, that was what he was thinking. He's the one who said that he undresses women with his eyes, in his mind. That when he sees a woman, the only thing that he thinks about the woman is how the woman will be in bed with him. He was born again, but those were real struggles that he was facing. Real struggles. And so the flesh has trained us to live independent of God. And you see, and it does not also mean that if maybe you were not exposed to those things, you'll be tempted. Even Jesus who was the Son of God, whose body was specially created. A body was specially formed for him. Bible says he was tempted in all points as we are. Tempted with sex, tempted with money, tempted with fame, glory, tempted in all points, tempted to lose his cool, his patience, because he was a human being. So nobody is free from sexual temptation. But you see, if you have not activated certain appetites, then you better don't do, because once they are activated, then you will have a greater amount of pressure coming on you.